Yo, what's up guys, my name is Steven and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are going to be going over the updates for Clash Royale. So if you go to clashroyale.com, I'll link it in the description down below, or if it's not there, just type it in because I might even forget, but it's just clashroyale.com and that should be it. Type it in your browser. Once you get to that website, there will be some new update leaks such as this one right here. It is the Jungle Arena. It can be found like on the new updates page. I'll pull up the info right now. So it's gonna be unlocked at 2,600 trophies, and it's probably gonna bump Legendary Arena up to Arena 10 now. So yeah, the new cards, they're basically going to be released in that arena, but I don't really know if they're going to be released on like a 2-week schedule or they're all going to be released just at once, because I think they definitely should just change up the schedule and release it all at once to accommodate this new arena, because it's going to be pretty, you know, sad just having like arena with only one card unlockable in there. So that's why I think they should definitely just add all 4 cards into that arena at the same time instead of applying a 2-week wait timer, just because it's a new arena. And before the jungle update drops, we also have balance changes coming 12/15. So note, these changes are not live yet. They're coming December 15th. This way we can approach the card balance in Clash Royale with a combination of playtesting and looking at these stats in particular. So it's basically going to be the cards that have been underused, such as the Elite Barbarians, the Tornado, and etc. So first up, we have Elite Barbarians. Hit points increased by 19%, damage increased by 14%, and hit speed reduced to 1.4 seconds. We've undershot their power at launch, and we want to do some pretty big changes to make them really elite. With these changes, they'll hit harder and faster while being tougher to take down. So definitely a really good buff to add to the Elite Barbarians. So next up guys, we have the Tornado spell, increased radius by 10%, and it's going to have stronger pulling power. So the Tornado can create some really fun and interesting interactions, but it's currently really hard to use consistently. A bigger radius and increased pulling power opens up more opportunities for successful tornadoing. After that, we have the Inferno Dragon. Hit points increased by 5%, and it's gonna retarget 0.4 seconds quicker. So yeah, I definitely use the Inferno Dragon. I mean, it can be really overpowered at some times, especially when it gets onto a tower, but if you can distract it correctly, it's gonna be like really underused, I guess, especially at the top meta, because people are obviously really good at distracting troops by there. But you know, Inferno Dragon's basically one of those cards which are gonna do nothing at all, or it's gonna be like super overpowered in a match, just like the Sparky. You either counter the Sparky or the Sparky is gonna totally obliterate you. So next up guys, we have a lot of balances. Balloon death damage increased by 105%. and its death damage explosion radius is going to be increased by 50%. Now, I don't really like the balloon. I mean, people who use it don't really like push trophies a lot, but still, the balloon, it should really get a reduced damage if it gets this buff, because, you know, it's going to be pretty overpowered, especially in Lava Loon, which is pretty hard to deal with if you don't have like any defenses or lightning spells. But still, I guess the lightning spell kind of killed it off or something. You know, Wizards hit speed is going to be increased to 1.4 seconds from 1.6 seconds, and its initial attack is going to come 0.2 seconds slower. So as a 5 elixir card, the wizard can be killed by lightning and relatively heavy lightning meta, so the wizard definitely needs some more power to be worth the risk. So yeah, wizard, anybody who uses it against a lightning deck, they're obviously gonna get destroyed, just because, you know, wizard 5 elixir, lightning 6 elixir, and if you hit like 2 troops and get the wizard in the lightning spell as well, it's gonna be definitely really worth 6 elixir just to cash in that big lightning spell right there. So next up guys, we have a giant skeleton damage increased by 8%. It's definitely gonna be pretty overpowered, especially with the clone spell, because if you get a giant skeleton to the tower and you drop a clone spell on it, it's pretty much gonna be GG for the tower right there. I mean, seriously, the tower is gonna be done. And after that, we have the Lumberjack hit points increased by 6%. More hit points will allow him to survive longer to deliver that rage boost, basically. And even with the clone spell, the Lumberjack, I mean, it's one of those cards that could really get benefited by the clone spell, because it's going to be like a double rage. So yeah, this is definitely going to make the Lumberjack more used. And the clone spell, I can already see so many people using the Lava Hound clone spell combo. So if you just like buff the cards that could go well with the clone spell, you don't really have to make them super overpowered, but with the clone spell, they're definitely going to be really good. So next we have bomber damage increased by 4%, and this is gonna let it one-shot archers at, I guess, a tournament level standard. And next, the mortar boulder explosion radius is gonna be increased by 11%. The mortar's boulders will land with a bigger splash, damaging a larger area. We're aiming to make the mortar gameplay more reliable, but the reason why Supercell is so retarded is they don't get that we hate the mortar. We hate the mortar expo and royal giant, and yet Supercell, they still have the brains to buff these cards we all despise. So the last change is kind of a small one. It's basically the mirror, and it will create +1 level cards at level 8 once again. So I don't think this is gonna affect the game that much, but it just might, like, I guess, make the mirror gameplay more reliable, or more people will use the mirror, I guess. But still, that is gonna wrap it up for today's video. Be sure to smack that like button down below if you enjoyed today's Clash Royale episode, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and be sure to turn on notifications to stay updated with the latest Clash Royale news and updates.